Hey guys, what's going on? Luke here. I'm going to be doing another film review for you today. This one's slightly different though. Obviously I've mostly stuck within the horror genre so far, because that's my personal favourite genre. I kind of have dipped outside slightly with Straw Dogs. I mean, that's got horror elements, but I get it's not really a horror film. And now I'm going fully out of horror into something that doesn't have horror elements whatsoever. I'm going to be reviewing the 1980 British crime movie The Long Good Friday. It was directed by John Mackenzie and it stars Bob Hoskins and Helen Mirren. The film basically follows a London mob boss called Harold Chan, played by Hoskins, who returns to London after some time away. Upon his return, he finds several of his men executed. The movie essentially follows Harold as he tries to work out exactly what's going on and who keeps killing his men. The answer is a surprise to everyone, the audience included. One of the first things I've got to comment on with The Long Good Friday, and this isn't something that I've commented on in any of my other reviews, but the soundtrack is awesome. It is great. In a way that no other movie really has a great, this sort of genuinely brilliant soundtrack, this sort of wailing saxophone over this kind of like electronic synth. I don't even know how to describe it, man. Honest to God, you need to check it out. The Long Good Friday soundtrack is brilliant. From a more sort of conventional point of view, though, I've got to say this movie doesn't pause for characterization and exposition. It incorporates that quite naturally into the story. You know, everything you watch is story, but it kind of expands your knowledge of these characters and the world around them and sort of the world they're from. You know, for example, where something, I reviewed Straw Dogs the other day, and one of my criticisms of that movie is that it kind of puts the story on hold to kind of flesh out the characters, whereas The Long Good Friday doesn't do that. Another thing I loved is that the dialogue is great. The dialogue feels totally natural, but at the same time it's got its own style. That, you know, there's a wittiness to it that feels very unique to this film. And a lot of what really sells the dialogue has to be put down to the acting. With you know, the likes of Bob Hoskins and Helen Mirren in your movie, you're only going to get good results. And like I say, they really sell this dialogue well. It feels believable, it's consistent. So if I had to criticise the movie for anything, it would be the fact that it does sort of take on a little bit more than it has to story-wise. It's a reasonably long movie. It's about 100 minutes long. In that time, like I say, it is pretty much all plot. There are times where you know, like I say, the momentum drops a little bit in the sort of earlier part of the second half of the movie. In spite of that, it really does do well to get back on track. The plot does have a slight touch of convolution. Like there's certain details that it feels like, you know, they just tried to cram too much into the story. I don't want to give anything away. That's the thing. I really don't. I could say, you know, spoilers, but skip to this point. But I really feel like if you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. This is the thing, man. I try to divide my reviews in half, so I do stuff, you know, the pros and the cons of a movie in two halves. But this movie genuinely doesn't have many cons. I think that The Long Good Friday is a really, really good movie. It's a great movie. It's really entertaining. It's got very sharp dialogue. It's shot perfectly nicely. I feel like this is a movie that just hits all of its targets that the crew set out. You know, it's superbly acted. It looks great on screen. Actually, something that I didn't mention, there's a couple of moments of really confrontational gore that are actually very well executed and quite disturbing. So you've got to give it credit for that as well. But like I say, in general, I feel like The Long Good Friday is a very, very good film. This is a movie that I really recommend to anyone who hasn't seen it. I mean, I know that I've got, you know, a lot of the people who watch my videos are in America who might not necessarily have seen The Long Good Friday or heard of it, but I can't recommend the movie enough. It is really, really damn good. So I'm going to give The Long Good Friday a score of 9 out of 10. I feel like this is, like I say, really, really strong. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you've enjoyed this video. As ever, I would appreciate any comments with opinions, whatnot. Please do listen to my podcast. The link is in the description below. And thanks for watching.